All right, so today we're going to talk about something called the SNS Roadmap. And look, it's basically a blueprint that makes a pretty big promise to turn total chaos into, well, creation. That's a huge claim, right? So let's break down exactly how they plan to pull it off. And this right here, this is the core idea. From chaos to creation, it's not a dream, it's achievable. I mean, that really sets the tone for everything we're going to get into. It sounds super ambitious for sure, but you're about to see there's a really solid plan backing it up. Okay, so let's get right into it. From chaos to creation, what exactly is this SNS roadmap that promises such a massive shift? So you got to understand, this is way more than just some boring document. It's really a strategic vision. And at its heart, it's a step-by-step process with this just massive, super specific goal to help launch 1,000 AI-powered startups. Yeah, you heard that right. It's all about creating this clear path from a messy, chaotic problem all the way to a brilliant solution. All right, so where does a journey like this even begin? Well, every great innovation has to start somewhere, right? For this roadmap, that starting point is all about getting real. It's about grounding everything in the real world by finding an actual, genuine problem that needs to be solved. Now, the engine that powers this entire journey, it's something called design thinking. And I know it might sound like just another buzzword, but trust me, it's not. It's this incredibly powerful tool that really forces you to focus on what real people actually need. It's about making sure the solutions you come up with aren't just clever, but are actually genuinely useful. So, design thinking gives us this really clean 5-stage process. First, you empathize. You really truly have to understand the user's challenges. Then you define the actual problem you're solving. After that, you ideate, which is just a fancy way of saying you brainstorm a ton of solutions. Then comes the fun part. You build a prototype, a simple version to test your idea. And finally, you test it to get that crucial real-world feedback. It's this constant cycle of learning and tweaking that keeps you focused on what really matters. Okay, but here's the thing. A great process, even one like design thinking, isn't enough by itself. To really make it work, you have to build a winning culture around it. So let's take a look at how this roadmap creates that framework for success. And this is really cool. The whole support system is built on these 3 frameworks that all work together. First, you've got the 3P culture. That's all about having the right people, a solid process, and an amazing product. Then there's the 3C framework, which connects the curriculum to real-world careers, all inside a supportive community. And finally, the 5 pillars bring it all together, blending academics, industry, research, and even social and spiritual well-being. When you put it all together, you get this incredible ecosystem for innovation to thrive in. So you've got the foundation, you've got the culture. Now it's time to hit the gas. This is the stage where everything starts to accelerate, where the journey really picks up speed. And what's fueling it? Modern frameworks, and, you guessed it, artificial intelligence. There are 3 key things driving this acceleration. First, you have models like Innovation 7x7 that give you a structured way to come up with and polish your ideas. Second, and this is huge, Gen AI enablement. This is all about using the power of generative AI to bring those ideas to life. It's where tech and creativity really meet. And last but not least, certified talents, which basically means making sure innovation isn't just some vague idea. It becomes a real, measurable skill you can actually prove you have. And all of this, it brings us to the final stage of the journey, the destination. This is where everything we've talked about, the foundation, the culture, the acceleration, all comes together to accomplish one clear, ambitious mission. And that mission, it all comes down to this one number, 1,000. The ultimate goal of this entire roadmap is to help create 1,000 AI-based startups. Think about that. It's a huge, tangible goal that gives a real purpose to every single step we just walked through. But look, achieving something this big doesn't happen by accident. It's not about vague hopes, it's about having concrete plans. That's why the roadmap uses SMART OKRs. These are goals that are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. This is what separates wishful thinking from a real plan, ensuring that your progress is always clear and you're always tracking your growth. So we've gone through the process, the culture, the goals, the whole shebang. But what's the one thing, the single most critical element that holds all of this together? Any ideas? It's all about having a growth mindset. That's it. It's the belief that your skills aren't fixed, that you can always learn more. It's that passion for learning and the resilience to just keep getting better. That is the real engine driving this entire roadmap, from that very first spark of an idea all the way to launching that 1,000th startup. And really, that brings us to this final thought. Together, we can make learning innovative, inclusive, and impactful. The SNS roadmap isn't just a plan for one place. It's a blueprint for anyone. It shows us how a structured, human-centered approach, supercharged by technology and a belief in your own growth, can genuinely, truly turn chaos into creation.